Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Gita Marie, and I think if you, like me, have tried or is trying to live as sustainably as possible, you have perhaps run into a situation where something that you do, a habit that prevents waste or is generally more eco-friendly, is regarded as weird or odd or disgusting or just crazy by people in your family, by friends, or perhaps you've gotten shady looks from strangers. I know I have experienced every single one of these things. So I thought, why not try to normalize all the small weird things that we do to be more sustainable by talking about them. Some of these things I've mentioned on my channel before, but overall I just think it's important to just have a little moment to talk about the weird things. Sustainability is about a lot more than simply just buying zero waste swaps or having a beautifully plastic-free, bulk organized cupboard. Anyway, there's a lot of the not so pretty but very essential things that happen. Here are some of my weird zero waste habits that have freaked people out on several occasions. Also, please validate me and feel free to comment down below if you have done any of these things as well, or if you're doing other weird zero waste habits that other people think is weird but you don't think it's weird. But like maybe you know that it's weird but you know why you do it and it's fair and it's valid. Then I might do a video where I react to other people's weird habits and like see where that takes me. Anyway, the first thing that I do that has raised eyebrows in my house whenever I have guests over is the shower bucket. So I have a bucket in my shower, hence the name. And what I do is that it's just there. Whenever I'm in the shower, it catches a lot of the excess water that I use when I shower, and I water my plants with it and I flush my toilet with it. I take my bucket out of the shower whenever I rinse my hair from soap and shampoo, but simply just washing with nothing but water. I save that water and then I use it for my plants and for flushing, because why wouldn't I? I don't water my plants with soapy water, but you can absolutely still use it to flush your toilet. And yes, I also encourage my guests to use the shower bucket. Hence the raised eyebrows, but like everyone understands it, everyone gets it. And whenever my water bill comes in, because of this thing, but also because of several other things that I just do to save on water, I use around 35% less water than the people in my area. Now, every time I mention this, I both get people that think it's a brilliant idea and start doing it themselves, and I get people that think I am the most disgusting person in the world. But I pick up hair ties on the street and then I place them in my freezer for about 24 hours in case there are lice, eggs or something like that in there. I wouldn't boil them because if it's synthetic material that can damage them or like make them pop or simply just melt them, so I don't do that. But I put them in the freezer and it's fine. I've never had any issues with it. And once you know, you will start to see hair ties on the street everywhere, and some of them are really good ones that somehow it's just like I don't know where these people get their hair ties or how they have enough of them to throw them around like that, but all the hair ties I find on the street are perfect for my hair. It's just like it's the right amount of stretchy and firm, and I don't know where they find these things, so I get them on the street. Typically. This is a habit that came from me not wanting to buy new things ever, and it's one of the early zero waste habits that just sort of stuck, because now I'm not so much like going for the perfect zero waste life as I just want to be a frugal girl. Not everyone's cup of tea, but the girls that get it, get it. And speaking of old zero waste hacks, so I have been making veggie stock from vegetable scraps in my kitchen for ages, and I usually have this jar that I place on my kitchen counter whenever I cook, so I can put my vegetable scraps in there. And whenever I cook with people, friends, family, my partner, I have this jar, and then I let people put all the vegetable scraps into the jar, and some of them go like, why do you want to save garlic peels and onion peels? Well, it's because you freeze it until your jar is full, and then you take it all out, you mix it with water and you boil it, let it reduce, and then you have this really vibrant, really flavorful, deep flavored stock, and it's amazing to use in soups, in gravy. Now, most people don't think this is weird at this point, either because the world has improved, which I hope, or because people in my network just has come to expect this of me. But I carry like a spoon, a fork, a little napkin often, maybe a cup, maybe a little type of plate in my bag whenever I go out. I typically, when we go out to clubs or bars, I carry a reusable straw just in case. Whenever I go out for smaller outings or I go on vacation, I always have my essential reusables with me. And I've done this for almost a decade. So maybe people are just unfazed because they now know that, oh, she's about to pull a plate out of her bag. Sure. Or maybe the world is catching up to the fact that simply buying disposable single-use plates is stupid. I have received a fair amount of skepticism for my homemade cleaning detergent. So whenever I make orange juice, I save the peels, I submerge them in vinegar, and then I just let it sit in a jar, sealed, for 2 to 3 weeks. And then you can use it as an amazing and effective cleaning agent. And I've used this for ages and ages and ages as well. I have the oldest guide on how to do this. It is as old as time. I don't know why I needed a guide to do this. It sort of feels like asking for a recipe for a salad. I don't know, but you take your orange peels and you put them in vinegar until it's completely submerged. Then you sit it in a cupboard for 2 weeks and then you use it. Now, this is not so much weird as, honestly, I'm just not being a very considerate host, is what this is. But I don't have a bin in my bathroom. Typically, you have a bin for your bathroom related waste. It could be pads, tampons, ear sticks, all that kind of thing, floss, all that kind of stuff. And I don't have that. I do use floss, I just compost it instead. But I don't do the ear sticks, I use a mimikaki stick, and I've used a menstrual cup or menstrual underwear for years and years. So I don't have any reason to have an extra bin in my bathroom. So I don't have that, which means that often I have friends over that sort of sneak out into the kitchen with a tiny little gift that's folded up in paper real nice. Maybe I should get a bin for my friends. But this is a period non-judgmental, non-shaming zone. I could imagine that there is some confusion before remembering that I probably just don't have disposables out there. There's also something with the soap scraps. And now maybe I'm just making my own life more difficult than it has to be, because every time I mention the soap scraps that and what I do with them, I have people tell me that you can get a little soap bag and then you can put the scraps in there. I like this way more. I don't know. So I take my soap scraps, the tiny bits of soap that if you use them, they'll just crumble away and die, and most likely you're throwing them away rather than using them until there's nothing left. So I have a jar, I put the soap scraps in the jar, and when the jar is full, I remelt them into a new whole bar of soap. And once in a while, when this Franken soap bar is the available soap in my bathroom, I will have guests going, "What is wrong with your soap?" And then when I tell them that it is maybe like 20 or 30 different soap bars all in one, they think I'm crazy. That's okay. For my next trick, I will explain it by simply showing it to you, because my water glass right next to me was actually a perfect example. I reuse jars for everything. It has a purpose. I will find it. So whenever I buy jam or pickled things, any kind of thing that in the supermarket comes in a glass jar, I will just wash it, take the label off. Sometimes I'm not even taking the label off, like I'm lazy like that. And I'll use them for drinking glasses, I will use them for food storage. Having a neat jar is just so lovely. And sometimes when I have a lot of people over, I don't have regular glasses for everyone, so I prefer to use the upcycled jars. Also, if we're having a party and one of these breaks, I'm taking it a lot more chill than if it was one of my heirlooms from my grandmother's house. So these are just great if you're having parties as well. But I use jars for everything, and there are jars everywhere in my kitchen. I think this is on the lighter end of what's weird, because a lot of people are doing this today, and I love to see it. Now, whenever I cook with other people, or whenever I have people over, often I will hear someone ask for a paper towel or a paper napkin. I don't have that. I bring them a cloth instead, and then I wash it once they're done using it. If it's something they're drying off of the counter or the floor, I'll just use my kitchen rag. And if it's at the dinner table and they just want something for their sticky fingers, I'll bring them a reusable napkin made from cotton cloth instead. This is not weird. Actually, it elevates the entire experience. It elevates the dining experience, I feel like. So using napkins that are reusable just gives everything a more elegant vibe rather than using disposable napkins. But every time someone asks for one of these products and I have to go, I don't have that actually, I can see that there's a tiny second where they're just like, it's a lot less weird in Denmark because everyone uses reusable kitchen rags everywhere. I know people tend to have different preferences when it comes to what we're able to buy in a thrift store, what we feel comfortable using that secondhand. And I feel like my tolerance might be different from other people sometimes. If you relate to any of this, let me know, validate me, just like, let's make a club about this. I get my stockings, my socks, my towels, and my bed sheets secondhand, and I have no problem with it. I know some people think it's weird, but I take that with a huge grain of salt because some people think that just using any kind of thing secondhand is weird, so I'm not gonna sweat it that much. I don't do underwear that's secondhand. I do, however, do swimwear and bras. I don't do pants that are secondhand. I think that's the only thing that is apparently, but everything else goes as far as I'm concerned. And I would love to hear what your tolerance is, like how much can be secondhand until you start to get freaked out. There's no wrong answer, there's just different people, and it's okay. It just means that because I get everything secondhand and I don't really mind, it just means that some people tend to be a little freaked out when I tell them that the bed sheets that I'm using are secondhand, or that the towel that they used is secondhand, whatever. I feel like it's okay. It's washed. It's being washed. Anyway, I could go into all defense mode from here, that's fine. That's 10 weird zero waste habits that tend to freak people out. Did it freak you out? Let me know on the scale from super normal to super freaky. Where do these end up? Let me know. And let me know if you have any weird zero waste sustainability habits or actions that you do that other people might think are weird, but you think are totally cool. Thank you so much for watching this video. Have an amazing day. I will see you guys next time. Take really good care of yourselves. Until then, bye. Thank you so much for watching this video, and also a special thank you to my Patreon supporters. You guys help me create green zero waste content, and I love you guys. You can find the links to my social media accounts down below and the link to my Patreon on this screen. Bye!